Much of the hatred directed against Israel is based on falsehoods, on lies and hateful rhetoric that's promoted by Hamas and other Islamist or anti-Israeli outfits. And too often the United Nations and mainstream media are useful conduits for all this bile. I've spoken many times about the lies and misinformation that pollute public and political debate on the Middle East. Pro-Hamas propaganda is often circulated as fact. Many claims that come out of Gaza and are therefore directly from Hamas are repeated as fact by much of the world's media and many politicians. Then these lines are used as ammunition to condemn Israel. You only have to think of those claims early in the war that Israel had bombed a hospital and killed 500 people, claims reported all around the world, when in fact the hospital had been hit by rockets from Hamas affiliate Islamic Jihad, which, by the way, killed a much lower number of people. The United Nations and its agencies are some of the worst culprits when it comes to this sort of fake news. We know UN agency staff even took part in Hamas's October the 7th atrocities. I'll talk to an expert on these UN matters in just a moment. But first, the latest shocking example. Have a look at this story that dominated news bulletins right around the world yesterday.
We begin with a stark warning from the United Nations humanitarian chief Tom Fletcher, who has told the BBC that 14,000 babies could die in Gaza within the next 2 days unless aid reaches them.
This is baby food, baby nutrition. There are 14,000 babies that will die in the next 48 hours unless we can reach them. This is not food that Hamas are going to steal. No, we run the risk of looting. We run the risks of being hit as part of the Israeli military offensive. We run all sorts of risks trying to get that baby food through to those mothers who cannot feed their children right now because they're malnourished.
Now to the urgent warnings tonight about the humanitarian crisis worsening in Gaza. The UN now warning that 14,000 babies could die within 48 hours if aid doesn't reach them right away.
Today, the UN with an apocalyptic warning, saying 14,000 babies will die in the next 48 hours if aid doesn't reach them now. In a rare move, major allies, Canada, France, Britain, condemning Israel's actions as disproportionate and pushing for aid to flow again.
Yeah, 14,000 babies to die in 48 hours. This is just not true. It's a wild and erroneous claim, and nobody should have treated it seriously. Did none of the journalists even stop to think about this? I mean, sure, it's a sensational claim, a great way to demonise Israel, but really, they actually believed that there could be 14,000 babies in Gaza on the brink of death. It just made no sense at all. Yet the claim ran globally. It was widely reported as fact here in Australia, and anti-Israel activists such as Antoinette Lattouf spread it further on social media. Yet with just a moment's thought about how many people are in Gaza and how much food's been taken in during ceasefires and the aid workers and the medical staff working in the territory, it was just never a credible claim. And sure enough, the BBC, after reporting it, by the way, tried to fact-check it. Better late than never, I guess. The BBC then published, deep within its report, the response from the United Nations Office of Humanitarian Affairs, which pointed to a report on food security that said there could be 14,100 cases of malnutrition among children between 6 months and 5 years of age over the coming year. Yeah, that's right. It's an estimate, a worst-case scenario of what could take place over the course of a year, not 48 hours. A worst-case scenario of what malnutrition, not deaths, could happen to children if more food is not supplied or the war is not ended over a year. And that is reported as 14,000 babies being about to die in 48 hours. Shameful. Journalists, media organisations, bloggers, activists and the United Nations ought to be condemned. They ought to be disgusted by their own gullibility and their own anti-Israel and pro-Hamas prejudices that allow them to freely amplify such hateful and damaging lies. If you look very carefully in certain sections of the media, or you watch a show like this, you will find out the truth. You will realise they've been peddling lies. But tragically, for most people consuming most mainstream media, it's the lies and misinformation that will stick, just like the lies about bombing hospitals, and now the lies about starving babies. These lies are aimed at demonising Israel. They amount to propaganda to help the cause of the bloodthirsty Islamist terrorist group Hamas, and as such, they're only designed to prolong the war, prolong the trauma, and kill off any chance of lasting peace. And this stuff lights a fire under the powder keg of anti-Semitism.